Hi everyone, I'm Susie Cohen, and first I'd like to thank you for all the wonderful emails and @girls you sent me from part 1 of this video series on Hashimoto's. Now, I want to talk to you more today about solutions. If you're like everyone else I know, then you're probably frustrated and confused if you have an autoimmune disease because you're not getting enough help from your current treatment or dietary restrictions. That's why in my first video I explained how easily you get misdiagnosed and why doctors have failed you. So today I want to talk about the solutions for autoimmune disorders, including Hashimoto's. I mentioned hydrogen peroxide in part 1 of this video series, and that's what I want to focus on today. Hydrogen peroxide is all over your body. It's everywhere. It's in every cell. It's created by every cell. And it could be the reason you're not getting well, no matter how much medicine that you take. You might be on antidepressants or meds for sleep or thyroid medicines and others. None of that will ultimately fix you, but it might make you feel better today. So back to this hydrogen peroxide. It's created in your thyroid cells to help convert natural iodine to a more helpful, usable form. Now, Hashimoto's just so happens to be associated with high peroxide levels, and excessive peroxide acts like a free radical. Only it's not free. It costs you your happiness and your life because it's frying your thyroid gland off little by little each day. Now, it happens because our antioxidant systems are so overwhelmed, and all this hydrogen peroxide begins to rust you from the inside out. At some point, your hair starts to rust, and by that I mean it turns gray. That's actually the visual manifestation that you have excessive amounts of hydrogen peroxide and you're clean out of 2 enzymes needed to break it down. Controlling hydrogen peroxide is the most important thing you can do to get well. Remember, it's causing oxidative stress because it's a free radical. And there's only 2 enzymes in your body that split apart the molecule of hydrogen peroxide, which by the way is known as H2O2. You have to get peroxide out of your brain and out of your thyroid, both fatty tissues, or that brain fog and other brain-related symptoms will keep on getting worse. So the 2 enzymes that you need are glutathione and catalase. These will break H2O2 peroxide into H2O and O2, which is water and oxygen. So the goal should be to break down peroxide into water and oxygen. Obviously, those we need to sustain life. Now, first up, glutathione. Get it into your brain. There's no question amongst health professionals that one of the best ways to get glutathione into your brain is by acetylating it. That's why the best supplements contain acetylglutathione or S-acetylglutathione, which I affectionately call SAG, because it gets into your brain that way. It's a little more expensive, that's why you don't see it a lot. Perhaps you've never even heard of it until today. But seriously, glutathione supplements, they're not cheap, and if you're buying them, sadly, most of the forms are destroyed once they hit your stomach acid. Liposomal glutathione, it's a little better, it's attached to fat, but many of those brands contain soy, which attack thyroid function, and soy acts a little bit like a goitrogen. So using a supplement that contains acetylglutathione is best because it gets right into the brain. You can also use reduced glutathione. It's good too, as long as you're taking it in an acid-resistant capsule or tablet. Okay, catalase. Catalase is big, and I'm really excited to tell you about catalase because nobody else is talking about it. It's the only other way to break that hydrogen peroxide, that H2O2, and turn it into water and oxygen. Catalase neutralizes the dangerous hydrogen peroxide and turns it into H2O, water, and O2, oxygen. Controlling peroxide and turning it into water and oxygen will obviously help you with your episodes and flare-ups. It should help reduce pain and swelling and a lot of your other symptoms. But here's the point. Getting rid of peroxide means you'll stop the internal rusting process and eventually the external process as well, because external rusting, again, it can affect the color of your hair. In my humble opinion, catalase is crucial to getting you well. Catalase is a natural enzyme. We all make it in our body. We just run out of it when we're faced with a lot of free radicals. Catalase is an enzyme that is actually used up very quickly if you drink coffee or wine or take non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. We call them NSAIDs in my world. These are drugs known more commonly as ibuprofen or aspirin. And finally, if you're low in niacin, it's a B vitamin, you'll also be deficient in catalase. And I guess I should remind you, people who have a lot of gray hair, they often don't have enough catalase either. Okay, right now I want to switch gears and I want to talk to you about your gut. Sometimes your episodes flare up because you get into a food that is bad for you, and the foods have proteins that don't get fully digested. The partially digested food globules leave your gut, and then they get mistaken as foreign by your T cells, which are sitting poised kind of like a pit bull outside a meat market. Proteolytic enzymes are supplements that you can take to help calm down the pit bull. It's kind of like giving it a bone, if you will. These enzymes can help you break down the fat globules, the food globules, which leak out of your gut. So that's really important. If you experience bloating or flatulence, stomach aches or diarrhea, constipation or pain, these could all be signs and symptoms that you're deficient in digestive enzymes. And many people are reactive to certain foods too, like gluten and casein, corn and egg. So I recommend that you eliminate all of those in any order that you like. A couple more things. You have a network of tissue in your belly that decides what to keep inside your gut and what to let out. This network is referred to as intestinal tight junctions, and it controls the amount of distress that you live with. If these tight junctions come loose, you're in trouble. It means that more of these immune complexes or big food globules that are partially digested are leaking out. It means you need some help down there, and you need to reduce this compound called zonulin, and you need to tighten those tight junctions. They've come undone if you're reactive to foods and certain fruits and vegetables. People with autoimmune dysfunction, honestly, they're almost always sensitive to certain proteins like those associated with wheat and dairy, also eggs and corn and tapioca, another big one. No one, though, no one is immune from the harm that gluten causes in the gut. So if you have any autoimmune disease, a gluten-free diet is critical. Even better is a grain-free diet. I want you to consider simple things too, like vitamin D. It's a great immune modulator, and studies repeatedly show how vitamin D affects the Th1 and Th2 parts of your immune system. They sit like in a seesaw, Th1 and Th2, and they move back and forth. I don't want to get into that right now, but I just want you to consider simple things like vitamin D, because you can get it for free from the sunlight, or you can take supplements. D is very affordable. Before I close, I'm afraid that some of you may have forgotten that you can get well because you've been misdiagnosed or mistreated for so long, but I believe you can get well, and I believe in you. So I hope I've made you happy by showing how you can get better. And remember that no matter what kind of autoimmune disorder you've been labeled with, it doesn't exist by itself. If those proteins are leaking from your gut, they're lodging somewhere, and you need natural remedies and enzymes to help you with the intestinal permeability, because those food globules are lodging somewhere in your body, and your immune system is just doing its job to destroy the foreign particles. It doesn't mean to kill off your tissue. It's just attacking these foreign particles which have lodged in innocent tissue. And finally, this piece about hydrogen peroxide is really important. The hydrogen peroxide that your body makes, every single cell makes it, is bad for you. The best way to get rid of it is with catalase and glutathione. And getting well can get expensive. I know. I honestly know. If you get an injection of glutathione, for example, it could be upwards of $100, $200 a week just for the glutathione shots. That's why I told you about the acetylated form of glutathione, because you can get it into your brain that way. And here's another take-home point. Finally, do not rely on your thyroid hormone medication to get you well. It can restore thyroid hormone levels, but I don't personally think it's the cure. Again, because it restores your thyroid hormone levels if they're low, but the medicine doesn't address peroxide levels or immune complexes. It doesn't ramp up or ramp down immune function as you need it. Medicine doesn't heal the problem of intestinal permeability, nor does it help with any of the symptoms. But certain foods will make you better, and other foods will make you sick. So on that note, I'll tell you that I wrote a special food guide, and I'm going to post that soon. Make sure that you're signed up for my free newsletter, so it'll keep you in the loop of all the new research that I learn. As soon as I learn it, I share it with you. So make sure you get your free newsletter at my website at SusieKohen.com. Until next time, be well.